Дорогие друзья, доброго времени вам суток. Я сейчас перейду на английский язык, потому что жду в гости моего наставника и друга Джека Canfield. Dear friends, thank you for joining us. Today we are going to talk with my mentor and friend Jack Canfield about his latest book about the successful principles. Please ask your questions and hear what we're going to talk. Дорогие друзья, мы ждем немножечко Джека Кенфилда, буквально минуту-вторую. Я вижу, вы присоединяетесь. Многие из вас будут смотреть нас в записи. Напишите, пожалуйста, знаете ли вы Джека, читали ли вы что-то из его книг, и какие вопросы вы хотели бы адресовать ему. С удовольствием самое интересное я адресую Джеку. Так, ждем. Ждем, когда Джек присоединится. Ага, Евгений, отлично. Николай, добрый вечер, рад тебя видеть. Сейчас подождем немножко, и Джек уже присоединяется. Задавай, пожалуйста, вопросы, которые тебя интересуют. Я от тебя передам обязательно привет. Тане большой привет. Николай сильнейший эксперт тоже по психологии успеха, личных достижений. И, конечно, если будет у вас возможность посетить какие-либо мероприятия, очень рекомендую. Николай в этом большой мастер, тоже проходивший обучение у нашего общего наставника, друга Джека Кенфилда. Кстати, мы сравнительно недавно с Николаем записывали интервью, тоже в прямом эфире Инстаграма. Вы можете посмотреть его на моем канале в Ютубе. Ряд вопросов тоже интересных рассмотрели. Николай, взаимно, спасибо, благодарю. Так, мне сообщили, что Джек пытается присоединиться. Это его тоже, скорее всего, первый такой опыт. В основном Zoom-связи. И поэтому чуть-чуть буквально подождем. И, надеюсь, все получится. И мы пообщаемся. Ну, пока Джек присоединяется, я хочу напомнить, что с Джеком мы познакомились лично в 2013 году, дистанционно, лично уже в 2014 при встрече, когда я проходил тоже сертификационную программу «Тренинг для тренеров» в Соединенных Штатах. В 2015 году мы провели неделю с ним, с его командой в Италии на ретрите. Это человек, который повлиял на мое мировоззрение, на результаты, на жизненную философию в значительной степени. И, конечно, очень хочу также и вас познакомить с ним и порекомендовать книгу The Success Principles на английском. Правила переводят на русском. Вы можете ее найти. Я вижу, много присоединяется людей англоязычных. Dear friends, please wait for several minutes. Jack is coming. Jack is joining us. I think 1 or 2 minutes and we're going to start. And please write your messages below. What kind of questions would you like to Jack? Yeah, I can see Jack is joining us. Jack, hi, it's very nice to see you. Please press the button join the live video and we're going to start. Okay. It's coming.
Hey, can you see me?
Jack, good morning. Yes, I can see you and I can hear you very well.
Okay, good morning. I was having a little trouble with my Instagram account there, but we're all good now.
Yes, all is good. It's evening time in Moscow, and thank you very much for your time. I would love to introduce you to our friends and followers who are joining us and going to see our interview on live, recorded. Jack Canfield is great mentor of me and friend, is the co-creator of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, holds a Guinness Book World Record, and known as America's #1 success coach. Jack, first of all, thank you very much again. And could you please share your thoughts about what you think, what's the difference between successful people with everything going on in this world today? What's one thing that you found successful people do in times like this that others don't practice or don't even know?
Well, most people that I know, Pavel, they're in fear. They're scared. They're worried. Their thoughts are mostly focused on what might happen. They lose their job, get sick, lose their life, lose loved ones. Maybe their company is going to go bankrupt because they don't have the income that they'd like. They're worried about, will the coronavirus ever end? Are we going to get back to normal? And so the reality is they're not focused on their future in a positive way. They're focused on worrying about what might happen. And so I think what successful people are doing are two things. Number one, they're focused on they're focused on what they want to have. They're focused on their goals, but they're also pivoting. Most of us have had to take our businesses online. We've had to figure out how can we support people through the internet, through calls like this, through Zoom calls, through summits and podcasts and things like that. And so basically, they're having to think new thoughts. A lot of people are talking about what's the new normal going to look like. And I'm saying, what is the new better to look like? Because for a lot of people, myself included, we went through a very tragic couple of months where all of a sudden, all of our live seminars that we were scheduled to do, we had to cancel them. And so we had $800,000 worth of deposits that we would have had to return to people if we had canceled those seminars. So we had to figure out, how do we actually pivot these people into online courses that we could teach. And so basically, within a 2-month period, we were able to create a bunch of new online courses, get people to ship their deposits to them, enroll them, and so forth. So I think one has to think that it's going to work out. You're going to find a solution. What is that solution? And then the other thing I've seen really successful people do right now is they reach out to their mentors, to their colleagues that are in the same business, and they say, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And so it's a time right now, while there's a great pause in all of our lives, to study, to learn more, to learn about online marketing, to learn about digital things, to learn about social media, to learn about yourself, to develop new skills, to develop to read more, to do the things that are required to start over. And so people that are willing to do that, that are staying positive, that believe that they're going to get the result they want, rather than getting into fear and commiserating and watching the negative news all the time, these are the people that I'm finding are being more successful.
Jack, talking with you right now, I feel gratitude because the law of attraction works all the time. And your ideas and you changed my life completely. I remember back in 2014 when I participated in Train the Trainer program, and now we have opportunity to talk with you directly. It's amazing. Jack, your original book on success, which is called The Success Principles, is in 41 languages. And now you added their Success Principles workbook as a companion guide. What's the one thing about human nature that makes a workbook as even better tool than the original book?
Well, I still encourage people to read the original book because there's 67 principles in there. And I don't know if you know this, but there was a town in Russia. I don't remember the name of it right now, but the mayor of the town bought like 1,000 copies of the book in Russian and gave them to all of the key business leaders, the educators, the town council, all of the politicians. And they literally changed the whole town based on everyone living those principles. So that was very exciting for me. But the difference between a workbook and the regular book is the workbook is like having a coach that's literally walking you through these exercises, these activities that you did in the trainer program, that we do in all of our live seminars, that are required to actually do them rather than just read about them. And so we give you in the workbook all of the pages to fill out, the questions to answer, the techniques to use. And so it's much more experiential, much more active. And so it's like what we did, Pavel, we had a group of 30 people who'd never read the first book, who didn't know who I was. And we gave them a manuscript of the workbook, and we asked them to work through it over the course of several months. And everybody in that group, just from the workbook, was able to increase their income, lose weight, get out of bad relationships, heal relationships, become more healthy. Everybody had success. So we know that what's in the workbook actually works if you work it. I tell people, you don't want to have a book and just put it on the shelf. You end up with what we call self-esteem in English. But you want to have real self-esteem, which means you've done the activities. And the book helps you do that. It walks you through 17 core principles. You know, we recommend one principle a week, which means in several months you could go through the entire book and literally change your life.
Jack, let's talk more about deciding what you want. That's one of the most important principles in this workbook. And you've got an exercise to help people decide. What is that?
Well, most people never sit down and decide what they want. If you were trying to go somewhere in a car and you had a GPS system where you put in your destination and then your car tells you go down this road, take a right-hand turn, you'll go 5 miles, take a left onto this highway, your brain will work the same way. It will literally figure out how to get you where you want to go, but it can't do that unless you have a destination put in there. So most people are living in reaction to life. They're not intending to create the life they want. And so it's really critical to live life by design, life by intention, rather than living a life that just is responsive to things around you. It's not a life that you're creating, it's a life that you're reacting to. So it's important to take some time to really sit down and look at 7 different areas of your life. Your finances, the money in your life, looking at your relationships, looking at your career, your job, your business, looking at your health and fitness, looking at what you want to own, the house, the car, the apartment, the television set, you know, whatever it is you want, the computers and so forth. And also looking at what kind of difference you want to make in the world, and also looking at fun and recreation. What do you want to do for fun? Most people never sit down and decide those things. So like in my life, my wife and I, we sit down every December or early January, and we will take a day and just decide what do we want the next year to look like, set goals for every area of our life. And it's really important to do that. Otherwise, you're just like a cork on the ocean, you're just bobbing up and down with the waves. You want to be a boat moving in the direction of where you want to go to the port that you want to get to. And so it's really critical to decide what you want. I'll share a little technique I learned with you. I was in India the whole month of February, and I was working with this guy named Dr. Naram. And Dr. Naram is someone who his teacher lived to be 124 years old. And so they really understood a lot of secrets in life. And Dr. Naram said to me, he said, the secret in life, success, is know what you want, know how to get it, and know how to enjoy it once you get it. Because a lot of people don't know what they want. A lot of people do know what they want, but they don't know how to actually make it happen. And then a lot of people, you know, they're rich, they're famous, but they're not happy because they haven't figured out how to enjoy the success. He taught me the technique. And what you do is you take a finger on one hand, take your fingers on the other hand, and you push right here against the end of your fingertip, and you kind of pinch it 3 times while you ask yourself, what do I want? You do that with your eyes closed. And then what happens is that you get answers from a real deep place inside of you. I don't know why that works. They call these points marma points in India. I guess they're kind of like acupressure points in China. And so what happens is I did that when I was with him. And the first thing that came up is I wanted to be happy. And the second thing then came was I wanted to have 1 million trainers around the world teaching the success principles, one of which is you. And so basically, then the next thing he had us do, and I'll show you, this is kind of strange, but it works, is he had us look at our arm and put our hand like this and then roll it down like that. And wherever the ring finger was, under that point, take and pitch that 6 times while you focus on what you want as you're visualizing a white frame above your right eye. So like a picture frame, and you visualize what you want, like a check for $1 million, or the car you want, or the number of people you want to impact in the world, or your book in the bookstore window, whatever. And you can do that every day on that point. And for whatever reason, it actually works. When I was there with him, my wife and I, Inga, we did that and came up with several goals we wanted to do, and we're already achieving them, you know, way beyond what we thought was possible. So that's a new trick out of India. But the main thing is just to take some time, sit down, and actually write down what you want. And the big problem for most people is they can't see how they can get it, and so they make their goals smaller. And what you want to do is don't worry about the how, just commit to what you want. And then by some of the other techniques we can talk about, like affirmations, your brain will figure out how to manifest the how. And so don't let not knowing how get in the way of deciding what you want. Just believe it's possible.
Absolutely, that works very well. Jack, I wake up now at 5 a.m. I do my meditation, I exercise, I read some inspirational or non-fiction book. Tell us a little bit about your morning routine, about hour of power or golden hour, and why is it so important?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I wrote the foreword to 2 books, and one was called The Billionaire Secret, or $1 Billion Secret, one of those. Yeah, $1 Billion Secret. And the other was called From Homeless to Billionaire. And they were both written by billionaires. One of these guys, Pavel, his name is Raphael Badziak. He lives in Poland. And he interviewed 21 billionaires over the course of 3 years. And he found that every one of these billionaires got up before 5:30 in the morning. Every one of them got up and meditated. They exercised. They were for ages from 35 to 81. Even the 81-year-old exercised every morning for a minimum of 30 minutes an hour. And they all read for at least a half an hour. They read something inspirational, motivational, spiritual, psychological, something about their finances, you know, their business, but something that would be uplifting to them, not like a novel or news or anything like that. And so that's what we call the hour of power. 20 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes of reading, and 20 minutes of vigorous exercise. And if you do that, you're going to be healthier, wealthier, wiser at the end of the year. Now, most people will tell you, I don't have time to meditate. You know, I've got my life. But as you said, you're getting up at 5 a.m. There's a book called by Robin Sharma called The 5 a.m. Book. There's another book by Hal Elrod called The Miracle Morning. They both talk about if you get that first hour where you visualize, affirm, do your gratitude exercises, meditate, read, exercise, your life, it just becomes much, much more magical. And so a lot of people are staying up late at night and they're watching television, they're playing video games, they're not really doing things that are that much, productive. And my mentor, Debbie Clement Stone, who was worth $600 million when I worked with him, said, I want you to cut out 1 hour of television a day. That's going to give you 365 additional hours a year. Divide that by a 40-hour work week. That's 9.5 additional weeks of productive time. That's like having a 14-month year. That gives you a huge, advantage over any of your competitors if you're in business. But it just gives you a lot of time to get healthy and to read, to get spiritually evolved, to be able to tap into your intuition, be able to be more creative, which we all need to be more creative right now. And so that's the hour of power. And I do that. That's my morning routine as well.
Jack, given your success with your first book series, Chicken Soup for the Soul, it's no surprise that the Success Principles was named the #1 success classic. What does it take to get a book to that historical level?
Well, I think it takes a couple of things. First of all, you have to write a great book. And one of the things we learned early on, and you know, I teach this, is called the power of feedback. And so you have to ask for feedback to make sure the book's a great book. So make sure you're writing about something you know about, you care about, you have a lot of passion about, and then do the research you need to do. Like with Success Principles, I interviewed 75 of the most successful people in North America, Canada, and some people in Europe. And these were all people who were movie stars, Olympic athletes, professional league coaches, best-selling authors, millionaires and billionaires, people that were successful salespeople, presidents of companies, etc., and generals in the military. And so what happens is I was going to make sure that what I was writing about wasn't just, the things that worked for me, but these were principles that were universal, that worked for everybody. So that's one thing. Make sure you do your research. You know what you're talking about. Number two, feedback. Every story in Chicken Soup for the Soul was read by at least 20 people. And all the subsequent books that came after that, at least 20 people read the stories. And they would give us feedback on a scale of 1 to 10. How did you like that story? And any story that scored less than a 9 on an average, we put it in an Excel spreadsheet. We wouldn't use it, or we would keep working on it to fix it to make it to get to a 9 or a 10. So that's, a lot of stories I wrote never made it in the book because it wasn't about my ego. It was about what the readers were getting value from. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is you have to have a really good title that people can remember. Like Chicken Soup for the Soul is kind of a weird title. So it stops them, they think about it. A one-word title, like, stickiness. So like, if you're doing something online, you want it to be sticky, people remember it. So a guy writes a book called Stickiness, So you can test your title with people. Give people 5 or 6 titles for the same book and see which one they most like. Also, you have to have a really good cover. So when people see the cover in a bookstore, online, it somehow speaks to them. So you can use, there are all kinds of people online now, Fiverr, 99 Designs, where you can go and you can get people to mock up book covers for you, and then you can pick one, and it's very inexpensive to get people to do that. And then you have to market the book. And this is where most people give up too soon. We did not hit a bestseller list until 14 months after the book came out. Now, most people, if their book isn't a bestseller in the first month or two, they think about books didn't make it, and they move on to something else. So it's persistent, consistent action over time. As you know, I teach something called the Rule of 5. Do 5 things every day to support your major goal. So when our major goal was to have Chicken Soup for the Soul be the #1 book on the New York Times list, or to have the Success Principles be the #1 book, we did 5 things every day. Called 5 radio stations to see if they would interview us. Called 5 newspapers to see if they would interview us. Write 5 podcasts or 5 blogs. Be on 5 podcasts. Be on 5 interviews like you're doing with me right now. Like ever since the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic hit, I've been doing 4 or 5 interviews, podcasts, summits, video blogs a day. And literally, that's a lot. But the point is, it's getting my name out there. My book is out there. And so there's this consistent effort over time that you have to do. And build up your social media presence. Work with other people. Let's say you have a podcast. I'm on your podcast. You'll be on my podcast. We trade back and forth. So the more you can do with that. You probably know who Mykola Latansky is. He lives in the Ukraine.
Absolutely. He is watching us now, Jack.
Oh, good. I thought I saw his name in the beginning. But one of the things he did is he was doing a daily video blog every single day. And I remember when he started, he was getting about 60 people would show up to his seminars. And then it was like 600, and now it could be 1,000. I don't know. But he's got a huge online presence. He was visiting my house once. I came out into the room I'm in. You see all these books behind me. And he had his camera on, And he was going, "Hi, I'm in Jack Canfield's library. You see, leaders are readers." And he's read all these books. And I walked in on him. He didn't expect me to do that. He was just doing that. And then he turns, "Oh my God, here's Jack now. Let's interview Jack." But every day he's doing something like that. If he's in Paris, he's talking about the building of the Eiffel Tower, whatever. And so the reality of that is he is building up this daily expectation that people are going to learn something valuable from him. And then at the end of his video, he can say, "And by the way, I'll be in Kiev, or I'll be in Prague, or I'll be in Moscow or Leningrad or whatever doing a seminar, and you should tell your friends to be there." And that's how his thing just grew and grew and grew and grew. And now he's training trainers, he's teaching to Russian-speaking people all around the world. And it all started by his just consistent marketing through the internet.
Thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely. Mykola and Tatiana are very inspirational, very good people. Jack,
Yes.
let's talk a little bit about limiting belief and fears. What would you recommend to our followers and friends to change their mindset about money and success?
Well, I think that, we all have beliefs about money. We have beliefs about relationships. We have beliefs about sex. We have beliefs about fun. We have beliefs about work. We have beliefs about everything. And most of those beliefs were formed when we were somewhere between the ages of 3 and 8, 9, 10 years old. And so, they were formed by our parents, our grandparents, the school we went to, the religion we grew up in, the country we grew up in, watch, and so forth. And so we're the result of other people's ideas. And many of our parents were not that wealthy. Many of them had limiting beliefs, and so we adopted those beliefs. Or we had traumatic experiences where we made decisions that, life is hard, money doesn't grow on trees, money's the root of all evil, things like that. And so the first thing you have to do is become aware of your beliefs. Now, what I would recommend to everyone watching this, if you go to my website, which is jackcanfield.com, you can just get your name on my mailing list. And about 4 times a year, I do a free call for usually about 1,000 people are on that call. And I take people through a process to identify and to release and replace one of your limiting beliefs. And it's really, really powerful. I've done it twice this year so far. And so if you really want to do that exercise, just go to jackcanfield.com, just sign up. And then when we're going to do that, you'll get an email. It'll be in your feed that we're going to do that. You can register for the call. But the main thing is to become aware of your belief. And then after you're aware of it, to say, what's the opposite? How is this belief stopping me? And then what's the opposite of that belief? Like I was just in a seminar recently where I was the client and someone was leading me through a similar process. And literally what I got in touch with is I was about to start doing this internet marketing, not internet marketing, network marketing company, multi-level marketing called Young Living. It's essential oils. And part of me was a concern about that. Why is this guy with this incredible reputation, who's built it on success, who's written all these books, going to get involved with an internet marketing company, network marketing company, with something as weird as oils? You rub these oils on your hand, you smell them, and then they have an impact on your attitude, your beliefs, your feel-good, your health. And I remember thinking this thought that it's not okay to risk anyone's disapproval. And so a lot of my life, I've really been aware of wanting everyone to like me, to think I'm a great guy, to respect me, and so forth. And that's, while it's a good thing, it's also limited me because it's made me hold back some. So when we did this exercise, I went back in my memory to when I was in high school, actually. And my dad and I were having a fight, like arguing with each other. And my dad got so mad, he swung at me and like a fist, to hit me. And I had been taking a judo and a karate class, and I flipped him. You shouldn't do that to your father, not cool. And so he was really angry. And my mother said, "Run, I'll tell you when it's safe to come home." So I ran out of the house, and about 2 hours later, my brother came and got me. And then I had this image that just kind of came into my mind of my dad asking for forgiveness, saying he didn't mean to hurt me. He was just, lost his temper. It was the time of my life when he needed to respect me as becoming a man and support my empowerment and to believe that I had valuable things and not to worry about what other people thought of me. And that was very healing. And literally, I went forward, and literally now I'm making, I would say, about $7,000 a month in this online program, this marketing program I'm doing now with essential oils, which have changed my life. You know, made me happier. I've got more self-confidence. All through oils, sleep better, amazing. But the point I'm saying is, sometimes a limiting belief like I had, like I shouldn't do something that will upset my clients, will upset people, was holding me back from something that was going to help me. And now I've got like 1,400 people in my downline, and they're all getting value. They're all signing up their friends and bringing value to them. So basically, first of all, become aware of the limiting belief, realize that you don't have to have that. You can change it to the opposite belief. Like instead of thinking I'm not smart enough, you can simply have the belief I'm smart enough to do anything I want. You know, I have all the talents and all the skills to achieve my goals. So just that's the thing you can do on your own. But if you'd like to go through that process with me, go ahead and sign up, and I'd love to have you do that. We'll probably do one either late August or early September.
Jack, I've got a lot of questions. I can talk with you for hours and days. And I see that our friends have a lot of questions, but I have to say thank you, Jack. Thank you very much for your time. I said 30 minutes. That's enough. So I know you are very busy. And I wish you have a great day, Jack. Thank you very much for everything you do. I wish you abundance, health to you, to Ingen, your family, friends, and your followers. And thank you very much from me personally and from my family, because your ideas, your books changed my life. And I've got several books in Russian and in English here. And I listen audiobooks with you and read them. It's wonderful how our mindset, how our thoughts changes, and I see the results in my outside. So it's so wonderful to have you here as my guest. I look forward to see you very soon in person as well, Jack. And best wishes to Patty, to Alice, to all our mutual friends over there. And dear friends, thank you very much for being with us, Jack. Thank you again for everything, and look forward to see you very soon.
My pleasure. And I see all these little hearts coming up on the screen. So thank you all for listening. And, you know, get a copy of the book if you haven't read it, and what's in there. Sign up for my website. And let's do this again in a couple months, Pavel. We'll do this a couple times a year, okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Jack. See you soon.
Right. Okay. Take care, my friend.
Love
Bye.
you. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.